Jaden Daniels, dude. Oh, man. We were talking about him just before. Phenomenal in that ball game. Like, just 22 for 31, nearly 300 yards, sacked 0 times, right? Just, he was that guy. 16 for 51 on the ground. And again, to do that as a rookie, to go into Ford Field, the #1 seed, on the road back-to-back, damn impressive, dude. That's damn impressive.
It's like, I swear, it's like every 20 minutes, there's like a new Jaden Daniels stat that I see on Twitter from that game of like how good he was. His composure is off the charts. You can't measure composure anyway, but for me, in my eyeballs, off the charts. His efficiency, his ability to put the ball in smart places. And like that was the difference between him and Goff in this game, and Goff knows better, right? Like we would forgive Jaden Daniels if it were flip-flopped and he threw the 2 picks in this game and was strip sacked in the red zone. Be like, he's a rookie, still played a solid game, had a great season. Goff's been around long enough. He airmailed that pass to Tim Patrick that resulted in a touchdown, and that strip sack in the red zone. That's the one that really killed the Lions because they would have been up 14-3 after that, I think. Just changes the momentum, and it gives Washington kind of this upper hand moving forward. And then outside of stats and numbers, what Jaden Daniels did is he just outscored the most difficult team to outscore this season. So the reason the Lions kept the 1 seed, despite having every defensive player, digging 3 feet of their grave because they were that injured this year, they just outscored guys. And we saw it in that 49ers game. We're like, okay, the Lions can outscore anyone, but this is concerning. And then they play the Vikings the next week, and their defense looks good. Yeah. So Vikings, I think they might be the actual fraudulent ones from that crew.
Can you just repeat that real quick?
Because they gave me a false sense of hope that the Lions defense had turned it around. And then the Lions, outside of that, let's also say they caught a bad break. Second defensive play of the game, they lose Amik Robertson.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah.
Breaks his shoulder, his arm. That's the second defensive snap. So, like, dude, talk about bad luck. And that probably, you lose your corner when you're already without your other corner, Carlton Davis. You're going to be reeling. And I think the Commanders were able to take advantage of that. And was it?
But anyway, for the Lions, they are preparing for both Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson to depart and be head coaches. Dan Campbell was talking about that earlier. And Lions, again, it's a different hurt. You had expectations this year, got the 1 seed, unfortunately had all those injuries, but now like rolling up, man, like it's tough to get back there. And I see that now after this weekend, Dan Campbell, it's starting to get just a little bit like narratives starting to run a little bit more because it's happened before, but is he the guy? Personally, I think yes. I think especially what he's done with that organization. But how are you feeling about kind of their future potentially without their coordinators?
Sorry, what?
The Lions, their future without both their coordinators?
We'll see. I mean, it's hard to understate, I think, what Ben Johnson has meant to the Lions offense. But the Lions offense is incredibly successful because they have some incredible playmakers and they have a very good offensive line. So as much as I like Ben Johnson, I think they can find somebody to call plays, to get Gibbs the ball, to get Laporta the ball, who had a ridiculous grab for that touchdown in that game. Jamison Williams, like they're in Amon Ra's like one of the most reliable receivers. I think a lot of coordinators can do that. Aaron Glenn coached up, I think, what he did this season to keep the Lions competitive with just one horrific injury after another. Yeah. That was probably the more impressive coaching body of work this season. And I think I think I trust Dan Campbell, though, to find the right guys to come in and replace him. Him and Brad Holmes they're very good together. I think they have an idea of who they want to do these things. They find former players a lot of the time with experience. You know, Ben Johnson was with Campbell in Miami. He realized like this dude's pretty smart, pretty good. So I think they'll figure it out. And I think if you have a good football team, you know, maybe you get a little bit of a drop off, but I think they'll be okay. I trust Dan. I trust Dan Campbell.
These these are not comparable things in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, flopping is very different from trying to draw an offsides call. I don't know how we are making that comparison. Sure. Yeah, if you're trying to say it's playing within the rules of the game, sure. I'm saying the rule of flopping like is stupid, and that's like where the officials need to truly like. I think if you are flopping after that, the problem is it's subjective, right? And it's going to depend on the officiating to try and say, hey, can we parse this out and say, are you flopping or did you really fall down? I think there's parts where it's obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, you could.
This is what I'll say. When Patrick Mahomes flops, it's disgusting.
He's not the only one. Josh Allen flops.
When Josh Allen does it, I love it. This sports, man. You could be very biased in your opinions. When Mahomes does it, he's a fucking coward. When Josh Allen does it, that's smart, and he's trying to give his team an advantage.
At least, you know what? At least, and if that ain't sports,
I think Bo Nix needs to do some more flopping. Honestly, you know why Bo Nix didn't flop this season, guys? Because he was playing with fractures in his back, and he didn't want to risk hurting them by falling when he didn't need to.
Fair. That's fair. There exactly.
You go. Josh Allen's cool. That's why he's so much cooler than Mahomes, and Mahomes is not unlikable, but Allen so much cooler than Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So the Lions, man, like, I think ultimately, like, they're going to get healthy in this offseason. Thank God. And we'll see kind of what they're going to look like. I think a lot more eyes are going to be on Dan Campbell, right? Because it's going to be about who are they going to get in that building and if they can replicate that success. Because sometimes, like, it is just those windows. Ask the Bengals, ask the Packers, right? Sure. Packers won a Super Bowl, and I was like, man, I can't wait for this dynasty. Never made it back with Aaron Rodgers. Look at Joe Burrow, and obviously it hasn't been as long for the Packers, obviously, but it is difficult to get back there. Time and place, season matters. So we'll see. And I mean, if the Bears decide to actually be good, maybe we actually have an even more competitive division next year.